The IRGC issued a stark warning, saying any attempt to make the Strait of Hormuz unsafe would face a powerful Iranian response. Hours after fresh US strikes, Tehran declared the Strait of Hormuz a red line and warned against further escalation. Iran's move to close the Strait of Hormuz has put global shipping lanes and vital oil supplies on alert. The IRGC warned that vessels attempting to enter or transit Hormuz could face action if they ignore Iranian orders. As tensions deepen, Iran says its retaliation is expanding from Hormuz to American military targets across the region. Iran's Revolutionary Guards issued a sharp warning as tensions with Washington continue to escalate. The message signaled that Tehran is prepared to respond forcefully to any further pressure in the region. The IRGC warned that any move threatening security in the Strait of Hormuz would not go unanswered. Iranian commanders said the strategic waterway remains a critical red line for Tehran. IRGC vowed to turn the region into hell for any country seeking to make the Strait of Hormuz unsafe. The warning came amid growing fears of a wider US-Iran confrontation across the Gulf. Sayyid Majid Mousavi said, and I quote, "Are you trying to make the holy Strait of Hormuz insecure? We will turn the region into hell for you from across all of Iran." This is Iran's response to the Americans' audacity in the region, God willing, unquote. The warning came on June 11th, just hours after US forces carried out a new round of strikes targeting locations in southern Iran. Tehran condemned the attacks as another act of American aggression and accused Washington of deliberately escalating the crisis. Iran's military leadership said the latest US operation crossed a new red line and warned that further action would invite a stronger response. In retaliation, Iran's top military command announced the complete closure of the Strait of Hormuz, one of the world's most strategically important waterways. The decision threatens global shipping and energy markets, placing a vital maritime choke point at the center of the growing US-Iran confrontation.
The central headquarters of Katamal announced, in continuation of the hostile actions of criminal America, and in light of the beginning of attacks by the aggressive military against certain areas in the south and Hormozgan province, effective immediately and due to insecurity in the region, the Strait of Hormuz is declared closed to the passage of all vessels, including oil tankers and commercial ships. And any transit through the strait will be targeted. The United States' claim regarding ship passage through the aforementioned strait is denied.
The Revolutionary Guards warned that any ship attempting to challenge Iran's restrictions in the Strait of Hormuz could become a target as tensions continue to rise. Tehran also called on oil tankers and commercial vessels operating in the Gulf region to remain in place, citing growing security concerns. The warning comes after President Trump threatened additional military action against Iran if ongoing negotiations fail to produce an agreement, underscoring the deepening standoff between Washington and Tehran. As tensions intensified, Iran's military announced a new wave of retaliatory operations targeting American military assets across the region. Iranian officials said the IRGC carried out coordinated strikes against at least 18 US military targets following the latest escalation in the conflict. Tehran described the attacks as a direct response to recent American strikes on Iranian territory, warning that further US military action would trigger additional retaliation. Multiple US airstrikes rock Iran as Trump fumes over the reported downing of an Apache near Hormuz. Trump appears to hit back at Majid after the US helicopter loss escalates tensions in the Gulf. Trump confirms retaliatory strikes after Iran is blamed for the first reported Apache hit of the conflict. Donald Trump said, and I quote, "I have just been informed by our great military that last night the Iranians shot down one of our highly sophisticated Apache helicopters while patrolling over the Strait of Hormuz. There were 2 pilots involved. Both are safe and uninjured. Nevertheless, the United States must of necessity respond to this attack. Thank you for your attention to this matter." Unquote. CENTCOM launches what it describes as self-defense strikes against Iranian targets amid renewed confrontation. War flares again in the Middle East just days after the latest Iran-Israel clash raised hopes of restraint. The US targets Iran in what is being framed as a proportional response after containing Israeli pressure. US Central Command said, and I quote, "US Central Command, CENTCOM, forces began launching self-defense strikes against Iran at 5 p.m. ET today at the Commander-in-Chief's direction, in response to yesterday's downing of a US Army Apache helicopter. The mission is a proportional response to unjustified Iranian aggression." Unquote. New blasts are reported at multiple Iranian military sites as the confrontation widens again. Southern Iran comes under fire after the US retaliation linked to the Apache incident. Trump's response is being portrayed as a desperate move as the fragile ceasefire begins to fray again. Iran International, citing Iranian media and officials, reported, and I quote, U.S. military forces struck several Iranian air defense batteries and radar systems around the Strait of Hormuz. One projectile impact has been confirmed in Sirik and several others on Keshem Island. The U.S. airstrikes targeted Iran's Sirik and Jask naval bases, an air defense position in Bandar Abbas, coastal missile batteries in Minab and Keshem, and the port of Keshem. Explosion sounds were heard in the vicinity of the southern Iranian port city of Jask, unquote. The Hormuz flashpoint ignites fresh fire as the IRGC says it will deliver a response. Iran's top diplomat warned U.S. forces to leave the region before the latest strikes intensified the crisis. Abbas Araghchi said, and I quote, despite its defeats on the battlefield, the U.S. opted to test our determination. Our powerful armed forces will leave no attack or threat unanswered. Leave our region if you want to be safe. History of the Persian Gulf has many chapters on dire fates of intruding outsiders, unquote.
$25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that look, you will have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest news makers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the U.S. will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry ghats.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Deep dive into burning issues.
It's often said DRC could be the richest country in the whole world. It's because of what sits underneath.
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HT videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.